Heyo everybody, Haku here with my read-through for the last 10 pages of Chapter 2 of Magical Girl Raising Project, or Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikaku. I almost said limited. JOKERS Chapter 2, The Gathering. So yeah, we have the last 10 pages, the third part of this chapter, and then we'll be a third of the way through with the arc already. Just blowing through it. So yeah, I think 3 parts is maybe the way to go for this. If I do 3 parts for every chapter, then I'm kind of getting through this a lot quicker than I did the previous arcs. So yeah, I think that's a good way to go. But I love this one so far. I love the elements in Prism Cherry, so I really hope nothing bad happens to them, even though it's kind of setting up for everyone to go after them. I really like them. I like the new characters we were introduced to. Particularly, I really like Filaru a lot. And I want to learn more about the Bubble Blower Trumpet Lady. Want to learn more about her. And also I think they called her the Morning Magical Girl. But the one I was calling Yatagarasu, she has a cool character design. I'd like to learn more about her. So, yeah. So I think we've been introduced to basically every character at this point, except for the Carnival character. Shufflin we haven't been introduced to yet. And I think the Queen, but I have my theory that the Queen is the Queen-looking magical girl. I have my theory that she's the professor, and that she's the old lady who was wearing all the roses. So yeah, that's my own theory. I could be completely off. That still doesn't tell me her name, but I think we may have seen her before, just in old lady form. And I think that'd actually be really cool, because I kind of want to see more magical girls from various walks of life and stuff. So to have an old lady magical girl who maybe became a magical girl when she was a little girl would be a really cool concept. So I'd be all in for that concept. But either way, let's see what we got going on here. Sorry if my voice is a little hoarse. It's been kind of rough for the past 30 minutes to an hour. I don't know what's up with it. But either way, we're starting on page 38, the very end of page 38, with Prism Cherry section. We just got done with Deluge, and Deluge kind of noticing that those other magical girls seemed more like Prism Cherry than they seemed like them. Maybe putting things together a little bit. But it'll be cool to now see Prism Cherry's thoughts on things. I loved Quake and Tempest thoughts on things. I freaking love Quake and Tempest. But either way, we have Prism Cherry, end of page 38. They actually came. She thought that they'd come someday, but so soon. The 3 magical girls were looking for man-made magical girls. When the word man-made magical girl came up, only one person, well, 4 people really, came to mind. They weren't normal magical girls. They were special. They had matching tiaras and gems. They regularly took medicine. They didn't go through a magical girl selection test. They were 4 girls who had a lab find their magical potential. Okay. Deluge, Inferno, Quake, Tempest. Those 4 girls. It matched directly with them saying that they came from a laboratory. She doesn't know what the problem was with these girls, but she knows that they're being targeted. Was it because they were something the Land of Magic didn't approve, or did it have nothing to do with the Land of Magic? Maybe they were attacked because their existence can cause unwanted technology to be stolen. Land of Magic, the original Magical Girl template, selection test for Magical Girls of Justice. The only ones who knew about these things among the pure elements was only Prism Cherry. Prism Cherry talked. She'd share her information. She didn't know what would happen, but for now she had to take one step forward. Yeah, Prism Cherry definitely needs to tell them about what was happening. That single step was scary. Deluge sent her away, yet she was still worried even after she came to her house. Even during breakfast, during school, and during class, nothing came into her head. Her body, who wanted to do everyday activities, was on autopilot. But did her mind want to think about something else? Should she talk to everyone? What should she even say? Would talking even be good? There was no conclusion. She couldn't think of a way to reveal information while maintaining her current relationship with them. I really think she should let them know, though. Seriously. She finished her lunch without even feeling any taste. During lunchtime, she also went to the library. She had declined her friend's offers in class before she was called out. She didn't know who called her out. Did she look shocked? She didn't do anything suspicious. Or did she do anything suspicious? While being cautious, she looked back and saw a smile. "What's wrong, Nami?" "Well, I wanted to talk about yesterday." Their eyes met. She was staring this way. There was no way she could look away. "It's going to be a lot more dangerous from now on, it looks like." "Yeah, a lot more dangerous." Nami Aoki, Princess Deluge, compared to the other three, she was a lot more serious, but she's never been as serious as this before. "Prism Cherry, are you going to be with us till the end?" "Yeah." Even though she was worried about that exact thing, she immediately answered. She spoke faster than she could even think. "Thank you. I think I'll protect you too, Prism Cherry. I'll protect all of you too. I'm not that strong, though." Nami offered her hand. She gripped Cherry's. Then Nami released it as she ran off. "Thank you so much. I'll see you later then." The face she had when she turned around was a smiling face with a refreshing expression. She looked at herself in the window. And she smiled with a similar expression. She really was refreshing. Alright, so now before we get back to Filaroo, let me get some water. Okay, now we're back to Filaroo. Today, she couldn't fulfill her daily routine of watching soap operas. She had to make time for the sudden unexpected visitors. There were two magical girls that came in, avoiding eye contact. "My, what a magnificent room you have. It really is gorgeous." She didn't really think much of them, yet she kept any suspicious feelings to herself. This wasn't a palace, but perhaps a freelancer's lifestyle had them flatter people, as they were never really a worldly bunch. Besides, it's about time Filaroo started learning about that lifestyle. "It's a small room, but come in." The room was that of a business hotel. You couldn't even put 3 chairs in this room. Of the magical girls who took off their coats, the morning magical girl monopolized the only chair without hesitation, causing Overalls and Filaroo to sit side by side on the bed. "Well, I'm sure it's fine for us to discuss the contents of the text we received." But it told us not to say anything." "I believe it's fine, as we all received the same text. We don't want to get caught up in our worries, now do we?" The morning magical girl called herself Kafuria. I don't know. The morning magical girl called herself Kafuria. She seems to be living in a way where she'd offer help to places of dispute in return for thanks. I thought that only I got the text, but it seems not. The overall girl's name was Urakata. Okay. Her lifestyle seemed to be when each division, like Urakata, I'm pretty sure has something to do with bubbles or blowing bubbles, bubble blower. So at least Urakata does, but they have the long sounds on the T's, so it's a bit different. But either way, her lifestyle seemed to be when each division temporarily needed someone to work with, she'd be the mercenary-like girl they'd temporarily contact. Actually, I thought so too. Filaroo also explained her current situation to them all. She was just someone who didn't get replies when looking for a job. It was quite embarrassing. Last night, they were driven off by the man-made magical girls, and after they scattered off and escaped, all the magical girls returned to the rooftop and met each other. The three losers. There's no point in hiding their purpose now. They talked about how they all followed the man-made magical girls, and how they all received suspicious text messages. "We'll have to work together then. I'm sure we'll all be powerful together. Yes, it's a bit reckless to be fighting alone." She was surprised. She didn't expect that they'd want to work together, though they did lose a 3-on-2 battle. There were some bruises on Urakata's cheek, and Kafuria's hair had glass shards in them. Filaroo didn't think she could win fighting on like that. Well, a cooperation is necessary. That's right. It's settled then. No? The profit would be split in 3, splitting her monetary gains with Urakata and Kafuria, and they'd give any job offers to Filaroo. Although she didn't know if she could trust these two, she was convinced that they at least had to do their jobs, else their employers wouldn't like them. The 3 magical girls stuffed their knees together in the cramped business hotel. "If we're working together to make battle plans, then we should tell our magical skills too. Mine's the ability to sew threads into any surface." "Oh, I see. My power's to create mysterious bubbles." Oh, the word mysterious. "My, you're also straightforward. Mine is the ability to see who dies first." Feeler, who thought she was probably making a horrible face since Utakata was smiling. I was actually, I guessed something with like slime or poison for Utakata, but for Kafuria, I was damn close. I said she was going to have the ability to see the future in some way. Damn, I'm kind of proud of that one. I mean, I guess not all of them were very hard to guess. I mean, the bubbles thing I wasn't too far off from, and I was kind of on the nose about the sewing thing, but the sewing thing, obviously from her design, you could tell that was going to be her ability. So yeah, man, I'm proud of actually being kind of close on Kafuria's. Feeler thought she was probably making a horrible face since Utakata was smiling. Oh, that's gorgeous. Which one of us is going to die first? I don't know when, but I do know one of us is going first. That could be as long as 50 years or as short as 3 minutes. Though I know I'm not next, so I can be relieved. Oh my god. Thank you for sharing that completely unrevealing information with us. Okay, so we know that at least as long as the other two are alive, Kafuria is safe. Oh my god, that's great. Thank you for sharing that completely unrevealing information with us. Utakata laughed with a hee-hee. Kafuria laughed with a ho-ho. Feeler was the only one that was depressed. Were freelance magical girls always like this all the time? She couldn't disprove it. This really was a palace for them. She had to get out of this situation fast. While we can work out your magical skill, Kafuria, I'd like to be able to combine mine and Utakata's. Is that okay? Oh, apologies. It seems my powers aren't as useful. What? Oh no, that's not what Though I do have these growing on my back. Kafuria showed off her backside. They saw black crow wings. I can fly in the air with this, so I assure you I won't be useless. It actually would be useful. They could have her blow bubbles and then sew needles through the bubbles without popping them to make a network of really hard to deal with thread. So their combo would actually be pretty good. But either way. Black crow wings, with these I can fly in the air, so I assure you I won't be useless. Their current goal should be to identify where the laboratory that created these man-made magical girls is located. They could make great use of Kafuria's ability to fly and soar high above and to look down. Yes, leave that all to me. So for now, we'll have you scout from above then, okay? Utakata took out, it should be Utakata, but it's quicker to just say Utakata. Utakata took out a book from her pockets, and so I'm kind of purposefully pronouncing it wrong. Utakata took out a book from her pockets and spread it out. It was a map book. Somehow a map of Vest City was also included. Utakata pointed her finger on the map, tracing over it. Firstly, the man-made magical girls were running toward you, mesdames, in this direction, correct? Then, I believe their base is somewhere in that direction. Furthermore, the text explicitly stated to find the base within the city. Our direction, so then there is a lab in the city. A facility that calls itself a lab would be large, wouldn't it? It'd be annoying if the entrance to it is small and it's only large because it's underground. For now, we'll pick up any suspicious-looking buildings. I'll mark it down here. I'll do that too then. Then, I'll go look around during daytime. Or would it be unnatural to wear a veil and a coat? That would be difficult. A kimono adding to it makes it even more difficult. The three of them rose up one by one and began to leave the room. Okay? And now we have interlude. Okay, so I like those three as well. I love the pure elements. I like those three. Now we're back to the interlude with the previous arc characters going on. And we're starting at page 45, so we have 4 pages of this? Wow. Okay, so starting with Pithy Frederica. Back already? Yes. Were you satisfied? I believe I was. That's good then. The old woman smiled widely. Some of her teeth were missing. It's good to make friends with a human resources magical girl, especially since I was such an active worker myself. They all have big heads now, don't they? Okay. So if this is the same old lady, and she's possibly the one who made the man-made magical girls, and if Pithy or Flea is the one who sent out the text, they could be setting up the events of all of this all over again, but either way. You don't work actively anymore. Oh, there's no need for flattery. The old woman laughed. She laughed a little too much. She began to cough. Frederica stroked her back. The old woman wiped away her tears and said, "It's rough getting older, eh?" Perhaps she was looking to get active herself. Okay, maybe never mind, because the old lady described with the pure elements, it didn't seem that old. I thought they said she was only in like her 50s or something, so she didn't seem that old. But either way, perhaps she was looking to get active herself. The old woman carrying the tray with the teacup disappeared to the back end of the shop, leaving Frederica alone in the room. She thought she saw 2 crows outside her window. They're taking a break on the wires of a telephone pole. It wasn't a very scenic place to be, even if you'd tried to take care of the landscape. Okay. Nanako-san, who she hasn't met for a while, was still the same Nanako-san. Whether she withered, fell, cut down, or bounced off, Nanako-san was still Nanako-san. She heard that Nanako-san is living with Tepsukeme together now, both of them being good influences on each other. It's such a good, beautiful thought. At the same time, it's something Frederica didn't want to think about. Even if Frederica wanted to draw her in, she wouldn't listen. Flea, on the other hand, pretended to listen. She had a force of personality that was above Frederica. To be that large at someone her age, I guess she also thought that they wouldn't like each other. Or though she also thought that they wouldn't like each other. Okay. She understood Flea's objective. Part of her wanted to nod, however, Flea should not be the one to lead. She was not an ideal magical girl. Frederica was able to establish good relationships with all of her disciples, aside from Snow White. Excluding Snow White, she was also able to befriend Keek, altering her memories to be suitable. Frederica had the right to access anything that Keek had access to. Because of that, she was able to read and record the memories of the magical girls in Keek's death game. She learned what the magical girl Flea did, what she'd be willing to do to pass the line of death. She rarely misses anything beyond her intrinsic powers of a wheelchair that moves at extreme speeds. Flea's true power was the power to obtain and handle information with force. Having Nanako-san to collect information within her pockets would be something Frederica would be grateful for, accurately predicting everyone's movements and putting her hands in them to create the future she wanted to create. She even incorporated many uneasy elements that Frederica would do, that most leaders would scoff at you for. Frederica couldn't be blamed for causing collateral damage due to Wen's magical skill. The situation called for it, and a lizard would gladly rip off its tail to survive. What would happen if she fought Snow White? Just thinking about it made her smile. Flea would become Snow White's challenge. Snow would gain experience, becoming the cornerstone of her ideal magical girl. If Frederica misunderstood Flea, then what kind of person would Flea be? A machine whose emotions are dead, a selfless saint, a zealot whose ideals were difficult to understand, a madman with nothing to hide. No, Flea was someone different from herself, and people who were incompatible with her had to be observed carefully. If she carefully judged those people who were ruled by sudden acts and processed them, then she'd never misunderstand. If she did misunderstand Flea, then would Flea not be a good partner? The 2 crows outside the window plucked out each other's feathers. Apart from the landscape, it was probably a gentle sight. She took out an envelope from her sleeves while observing the heartwarming scene. The instructions inside were clear and concise. The technology to create magical girls out of humans, whether they had magical potential or not. These man-made magical girls was interesting. Following the method from the S-City mascot character following the methods that the S-City mascot character Toko used, then developing it further. This wasn't a short-term goal. Okay, so Toko was the S-City mascot then. This was a long-term plan. It used time and money, raising it to a degree of perfection. This could potentially give birth to the ideal magical girl that Frederica had wanted. However, the Land of Magic won't keep silent about this, making magical girls without tests approved by the Land of Magic. The possibility of making a private army for personal uses couldn't be overlooked. Aside from the Land of Magic, as a whole, those at the top of the chain will try to save face by stopping it. Makes sense. That's why Flea's Manor was attacked. Currently, the primary human resources magical girl as well as Fleur herself, was unable to act. That's why she wants to use Frederica. Frederica was suitable for this kind of work. Her personal selection wasn't wrong. Why did it come to this? Why'd she have to do it this way? Who raided Fleur's manor, and what's their objective? Or what was their objective? Okay, so maybe Fleur, as one of the higher-ups, needs to stop the Man-Made Magical Girl project, and maybe the person who raided Fleur is the one behind the Man-Made Magical Girl project, trying to, again, save her own project to make her personal army or whatever, which would seem like the logical thing to do. Also, we still don't know what the hell disruptors are, but they're probably going to attack that Mount Haku meeting thing, since we know that they always show up at mountains and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they attacked there, and that was a big plot point in the future. But either way, an effort to destroy the Man-Made Magical Girl project. Man-Made Magical Girl project. Okay, Fleur wouldn't be the type to silently be crushed. She won't go down obediently, and she won't put up no resistance. Fleur was the kind of magical girl who'd attack in the direction her enemies wouldn't even think to see. She was trying to publish the technology, spreading it so far that it became an established fact. Then, no matter how hard the Land of Magic conservatives try, it'll never be buried in darkness anymore. Even if the technology's forbidden, there'd still be people talking about it. Then they'd have to talk to the supreme authorities, the Three Sages. She didn't know if this would be lobbying, but there was an ample probability of victory. Was she planning to do this from the start? Or was she doing this because she was cornered? Fleur wasn't trying to monopolize the technology to herself. She wanted to diffuse it, to spread it, to share it. But for what? Was she trying to gain a sizable force to oppose the Land of Magic? Okay, so never mind. Whoever the Rose Professor lady is, Fleur's the one trying to keep the technology spreading, so it must have been the heads of one of the other places that tried to stop Fleur, which could make sense that Lady Proud could be involved, because she is one of the heads that's probably trying to stop it. But we'll see what happens. Okay, it seems she's unexpectedly as rotten as I am. Frederica could only think about it. Wedden's magic was still being enforced. She wasn't able to defy nanako-san, which means she wasn't able to defy Fleur, meaning she'd be asking the Human Resources Division for asylum. Assuming someone would even be bizarre enough to take Frederica under their wing, they'd need a patron to control Frederica. That's what nanako-san was. The sliding door suddenly opened. Frederica looked at the direction. The person was a magical girl who had nothing below her left elbow. Her left eye had a blade scar running vertically. Her costume was that of a ninja. I'm home. You did a very good job. Time for you to rest now. I'll brew some delicious tea just for you. Okay, so whoever the old lady, the retired lady is, I guess she's kind of in on things with them in that, again, I guess, yeah, she could be the professor if she's in on it with Fleur and Pithy's group, because I figure why else would Ripple say she was home if this wasn't her home? But it could also just be a simple, like, you know, the Japanese tadaima or whatever they say when they come home. Could be just that. But either way, this is only a 23-minute video, but it felt like 40 minutes. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it, but my throat's killing me. So either way, gonna end it here. I really enjoyed this chapter once again. I love the pure elements. The stuff going on behind the scenes, I don't know. I'm just personally not as interested in it as sort of just the main simple arc stuff. The behind the scenes stuff just isn't as cool or interesting to me. But I really, really like the pure elements. I freaking love them. And I like the 3 freelancers as well. They're really cool. Especially Filaru, I guess, but also the one that can see the future. She was cool too. So yeah, either way, like if you did like the video, comment down there too. I still, the statement where she was like, well, I'm not the one that's dying next, so all is good. That still gets to me. It's still funny. But either way, like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this part of the chapter, what you thought of my thoughts and reaction and all that. Subscribe for more Magical Girl Raising Project, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel or talk to you there. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us there, then just ask and I can give you a link. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.